The Plover. What exactly is the Plover? We are combining the power of order flow plus a harmonic structure. Two components we're going to need for this: the harmonic structure, predictive. Now, if you're not familiar with the harmonic structures that we post forward, we are showing you the end result of a harmonic before it reaches that location. That is what you're seeing right here. If it is yellow, if you see a yellow box on the screen, that means this is a location where a harmonic is going to complete. Okay, so not to be confused with an actual harmonic that is already formed. We are looking at a location that has not formed yet, which is where some of the power with this strategy comes from. We are going to assume that we are going to complete out a harmonic structure. A little bit different, you know, traditionally a harmonic structure is going to be used for the PRZ. The PRZ inside of a harmonic structure is the potential reversal zone, as you may already know. We went over that in some of our prior videos, so I'm not going to get into those details here tonight. Go back and watch those videos or ask there in our Discord chat and we'll kind of direct you to those. But you need to know what we're looking at here. In this screenshot here that we're looking at in a live example, this is going to be a cipher completion. Nope, I'm wrong. I see a diamond down here. Oh, they're crossing over right here. Even more powerful. Okay, we are actually going to be showing two harmonic structures going to be completing at this same location. I can see that we've got two crossover points there on this, and this can happen. This is two PRZ locations, which makes this even a more attractive zone for price to go into. We kind of assume this is like a magnet sucking price right into it. Again, while we call this a scalping strategy, you guys know that most of our strategies, we are not scalpers, right? That is not our primary thing. In fact, if you watch the majority of our other trading videos and our strategies, those are not scalps, okay? This is one of our few, if not the only one, maybe besides the two-finger salute, that is specifically more of a scalping strategy because of the distance between the entry point and the target. So what we're using here is the harmonic structure predictive zone for the target, and I'm going to show you guys the entry, the stops, and the targets. This is very, very visual. Here's how it works. You need an entry on the FLOWMASTER order flow cross. This is the white cross, but what we're using here to combine this inside of the Plover strategy is the combination of the FLOWMASTER cross being your entry point and the target being the predictive harmonic PRZ. We are executing entry right here. We are targeting right here. Hence the scalp, right? Between this and this, we don't know specifically how far the distance is on these when these go, but we are trying to enter as quickly and as close to the middle of that cross as we possibly can. We want to get in right there, bullseye in the center, using that like a crosshair on a reticle. And we're talking about gaming all the time. The target on that right here. So in this case, this one had built up to 22 contracts. The distance from the entry to the target here, we are entering in at 26,811 up to 820. So we're looking at about 9 ticks here. If we're getting into the back of the box, this can be around 10 ticks. Now, this one, it depends. Some people say 10 ticks is a scalp. Some people don't. For us in general, again, this can be any distance, okay? It doesn't matter. This could be 5 ticks away, 6, 8, 10, 12. We've had some that are larger. I'm going to show you guys some examples of that. But the primary understanding is that you've got the distance between a cross and a PRZ. Now, there is more to this. What you need beforehand, okay? Prerequisites to this, you'll want some of the other things from the order of operations to add confluence to this trade. However, other prerequisites that we want on every one of these, you need a straight leg. If you do not have a straight leg, folks, it's not a plover. You need a straight leg to take that plover entry. In this case, the straight leg is this right here. With this, I don't want to see some squiggliness. I don't want to see da 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 da, and then a cross, and then a box. This is not a plover. This straight leg is the key to what we need. The straight leg indicates that we have a distribution leg coming, okay? And we want to finish out a distribution leg. Now, if it's choppy prior, choppa choppa chop, boom, straight leg, we're good. This is a valid one right here. If I'm gonna have our PRZ target, great. Okay, the primary thing is that we've got this nice straight leg here that we're working off of, and then boom, we got this order flow volume spike coming in that's gonna help us to get right into that PRZ. That's it. That's what the beautiful part of this strategy. Very simple, very straightforward, straight leg, got a harmonic PRZ up in front of us, then boom, all of a sudden that white cross shows up. Now let's show some live examples. This was the entry to it. Let's see the finish on this one. Now this one happened to add another white cross coming here. Just helps us even more to kind of get that thing boosted and going. This beast came right in, and we've got that target coming up. This is going to be about around $1,000, maybe $1,100, $1,200 trade at that contract size. And again, sizing is relative to your own account. That it depends on what market you're trading as well. This one happens to be on the Dow. Any of our strategies works on all markets, but let's talk about markets that this works best on. We want something in general, we want fast. If you're a stock person, you're looking for a fast instrument. There are some slow things like a Walmart. Walmart's not moving too quick, but more of a tech might be good. In our case, we have the NASDAQ, right? The big one for us is NQ. NQ is the #1 instrument that we're going to be looking for a plover on. This is going to move fast, move quickly, and we want to see that burst and move, pow pow, take your money, hit very quickly in and out on this type of style. In our room, I'm going to show you guys the list of these in order from speed top to bottom for the instruments that we trade in here, but I'll tell you some ones that might have a little bit more difficulty on would be like the ES. Now the ES is a bit slower. You're also going to have a hard time on the Zs, ZBs. If you're trading Forex, again, Snorex, these are not going to show up as often. Now, if they show up, take them. By all means, take them, but they are very, very rare on slower markets. You will notice that order flow really has to do with that. We're going to have harmonics that are the PRZs that are targetable for other entries, but really not for this one. You'll notice you don't see the plovers very often. However, other exceptions to that. What happens when we have a high VIX? The high VIX is also helping us a lot with this trade strategy. The high VIX is getting us opportunities here, even in the ES, getting paid $12.50 per tick on the S&P 500 E-mini. Now, in this case, this was a Dow, fine, totally valid on basically, like I said, any instrument as long as it shows up. But the things that help that are high VIX. In low VIX markets, this is going to be a little bit more difficult to find this setup. So at this point, this trade is not closed out yet, but it's over $1,000 up to here. Just basically from this location right here up to this spot right there, that is $1,000 trade right there. And if we're going for 5K in a day, you're looking for our 5 trades, that one puts it away real quick. Here's what it looks like in motion. Thing shows up, you should see this be gold, and then when we hit, it turns red. Now, I would normally, when I see this thing turn red, I'm punching the close button. Yeah, this is when we only had some stops down here. Now, the stop location on this is a little bit trickier. Our default ATM is going to put our stops either at 15 or 25, depending on what the current market conditions are doing. However, I want my stop at the bottom of the cross. It's as simple as that. So if this trade ends up, boom, we're getting in right here. We're trying to get long. Where's my stop? Right there. Very small stop. This can adjust. Again, if you're trading this on an AlgoBox 1s, it's different than a 3, a 5, or an 8. The cross size is adaptable, is relative to the chart time frame that this is coming in on. By the way, only using this on algo bars, okay? This is not to be used on range bars, not time bars. You need to run this on algo bars. And again, this will work on all of them. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. Okay, we don't really have any others that we use on that. I don't recommend any other time frames. That's what we use for our entry charts, but that's it. Okay, stop goes right there. Now, you see that my stops on this entry are not right there on that, right? This is my default. But technically speaking, where should I move these, right? I should move these up and put it right there. This is a hard stop that goes right there, but you can always press the close button. You guys know how we use this in our trading system. We've got our 6 little buttons that we're using right there, and we can just press the close button just as easily. Nice one right there. That is from CG. Got a nice little entry right there. He didn't move his stop up. Again, the default stop right there. These go so fast. Oftentimes, you don't even have time to move your stop. That's another thing about this nice little scalp strategy. Pulling in a few $100s up to, $1,000 on any one of these little strategies is going to be quick, and sometimes you don't have time. Look, here's another one. When I enter in on this, looks like this is a default, probably 25 tick stop by default. My stop underneath this cross should be right here. Okay, so when we enter into this trade, I am entering in quickly, but if the trade starts to break down and we break past here, what am I doing? Right, we're punching the close button. Okay, get very familiar with that close button. We learn how to lose well in our middle 40 days. Again, our training program is 120 days. First 40 days you're watching videos. Middle 40 days we are executing in sim with market replay as our primaries, and you need to learn how to use that close button. Losing well is a very key skill. So I'm closing out right there underneath that cross. If it doesn't work, just bail on it. I will show you some examples where it did not work. That's always important to know. Now you'll notice, where did I put my target on this? I put it all the way up here into the middle. It really does not matter where you end up taking this. You could hold this all the way up and through, but if you're gonna do that up to the top, I usually recommend still taking your target one out the front of this box. You ought to pull off some right here, some at each one of these levels inside of the PRZ. If you want to get clever with it and try to turn this into more than a scalp and try to ride a position longer, especially if you have things like the audio box firing off telling you that you've got a great run going on right there due to the audio coming in, the aggressiveness of the buyers and sellers on the tape, then you may want to hold that position out. In my case right here, it looks like on this trade particularly, I was hitting this kind of in the middle, and it looks like we went basically straight to it. Here's a bigger one. I call this a big plover. Now, I usually do not recommend taking one like this. I think somebody mentioned this one and showed this out. It's like, hey, is that a plover? This one is, but in reality, I would not take this at a plover at this distance. Okay, there are some things that you kind of need to, you'll start to eyeball just because you see a PRZ down there. Yes, we had a nice straight leg. Yes, we had a PRZ down there, so you can, but if the thing doesn't work, just again bail out. What's the beautiful thing about these setups is that they're so powerful and they're so easy to see and such a small amount of risk. It's really a good, good setup. But there's an example of a big one. Okay, here's a plover that didn't work. We had a nice straight leg down, boom, we had the cross. I'm targeting this PRZ, but this one came up right there, right? So where's my stop? Right there. Right, so there's one that didn't work. They're not perfect. So another one where somebody had said, hey, this looks like a plover. Okay, be careful of, once you're a plover trader, be careful. You don't want to see plovers everywhere. Again, a plover should be, within 10 to 15 ticks tops, and really even shorter than that. Shoot, if it's any shorter than 10, all day. Okay, we're looking for that scalp trade for these, getting that finisher. Somebody had called this out and said, hey, is this a valid one? And I said, really, that's out of range. And by out of range, I mean that's a pretty good distance to try to take that far. That's not going to happen very often, but you'll have to learn those as you try to execute on these. And again, you can adjust your size as well to increase your P&L, which is something we teach in our final 40 days through our program. This is a nice one. We had this, it's a little bit weird and tricky, but we had a nice straight leg in front of it. Boom, we see this cross, a little bit of a unique one right here. I probably did not hold this all the way up to the top. I'm still going to probably take this off at about 10 ticks or so, but again, a nice one where I've got the very, very evident straight leg, white cross, and I had a PRZ prior to this. This is an after shot. PRZ, nice straight leg. Still a little bit too far in my opinion, but it obviously hit, so excellent. And there was a line right there in front of it. I don't know that I would have held that all the way out to that. That's it, folks. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of that. Let's take a peek. I told you guys I was going to show you guys some results. Holy shnikes, I was staring at this thing. Curtis hit 100% profitable today, 36.25 for CG, Robster 58.8750, 5.92 profit factor. That means his winners were 6 times the size of the losers. Ran 94% today. Robster, he hit 64% profitable today, 3.5. So that is his winners being 3.5 times the size of his losers, 58.8750. Ken, $1,700 in his live account. Thanks for hanging out, folks. For me, Pippi, Robbie, Lunchbot, Mod Squad, Curtis G, and the rest of the gang. I'm sending out that big H-Town.